Law Nation. I hope all is well with everyone. We are located at Law Nation Studios. Really appreciate each and every last one of you guys for tuning in to this episode. Shout out to 105.3 The Fan. We're going to be listening to audio from them. Appreciate everybody. Jerry, Wayne, Jones, flags, penalties. We got it all coming up in a few. Appreciate everybody. Be sure to tell that friend, tell that neighbor about Law Nation. Got a new coach, basically. He's going to be holding it down like 5,000 pounds. And when? Q&A as well. Be sure. Comment. Keep the interaction going. Yeah. And all the haters lean forward. Yeah. Right there. Flag City. Yeah. We're going to talk about those flags, bro. You know, it is what it is. What's up, everybody? Shout out to you, James. Q, what's good with you? Tariq, I see you, fam. Shout out to you, Nishan. Yeah, a lot of people on protocol. Salute to Skywalker still. Come on. If you don't like Law Nation, you crazy. Come on.
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
Come on. If it's your birthday this month, happy birthday to you. Come on. They say ain't no party like a cowboy party. Yeah. Come on. Hey. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. The name is Law Nation. We talk Cowboys, sports talk, and beyond. You can hear this episode on Amazon as well as Roku. If you have your devices, be sure to look up Law Nation Sports, and you will see my face, name, or logo there. Really appreciate each and every last one of you guys for tuning in. Shout out to the Facebook gang. Shout out to the shared notification people, man. Here's the situation. I believe in the hearts of hearts, the more you talk about something, the more things creep up about it, right? The Cowboys, in the back of their minds, they've been talking about flags, right? You heard the storyline with Mike McCarthy. He talked about flags. We coach, we look into the flag situation. And lately, the Cowboys been hit left and right due to flags. And everybody who's been following the Cowboys for a long time, we already know the game, right? We know what's going on. The aficionados really pretty much hated the fact that Jerry Jones pretty much sued the NFL and ultimately won. And sometimes I'm not trying to say this as low-hanging fruit, or I'm not trying to say this as it relates to like, oh, the Cowboys are using this as an excuse. But the old folks right. Not everybody's lying, right? There's some truth in there. So when we saying that, hey, this team get flagged more than other teams, we're not speaking from a falsehood. We speaking from the reality. And I'm not even talking about the stone. But what's up with everybody, man? Appreciate everybody for jumping in. Shout out to you, Steve. Shout out to you, Blue Silver. And let me pull up the chat log here. Bam, here we go, so that everybody can see their beautiful names up there. And we got some beautiful people here. I really appreciate you guys for being part of this thing. But before we go further into it, let's listen to Jerry Wayne and things.
Big news yesterday with
y'all
Mike
can hear that.
McCarthy on the COVID list with Dan Quinn taking over. Can you kind of just take us through that transition, Jerry, and what you're expecting with Coach Quinn taking over for Mike?
Well, I think it's important to realize that Dan Quinn has had years of working with what he's going to be doing Thursday. He's had years of on-the-field experience in current environment. I mean, it hasn't been that many games or that many weeks or that many months since he's been out there making those in-game calls. We're so fortunate to have him. So fortunate to have him as recently as he's head coached and been on the sideline. If anybody can, he should be able to handle what he needs to do as defensive coordinator right there on the sideline. And he was obvious choice there for Mike to make. And he made it. The team really believes in him. I'm talking Dan Quinn, and believes in Mike's decision to put him in there.
Now, shout out to Mike McCarthy. He the one made this decision to pretty much start, to have or allow Dan Quinn to be the person in charge of the menu ordering there. So I don't know whether or not he will be in the press box or he'll be down on the lower level. We'll find out with that, because you want the guy to be down there with your people to make the necessary adjustments. Now, I believe, can you guys recall my mind when Mike McCarthy, not Mike, but Dan Quinn, he had the C-19, and when he had the C-19, who kind of took his place as the defensive coordinator? Was it Joe Witt Jr. or was it Al Harris? Can y'all help me out with that? If he is going to be, dare I say, the man in charge, I don't want him to lose sight of what's going on, right? I really need Joe Witt Jr. or Al Harris to step up, right? So let me see what you guys got over here, because I know you guys know. All right, William said it was Joe. Okay. Jay said it was Joe, so I believe y'all too, man. All right, so I just want Dan Quinn to focus. We know that he can get unfocused. 28-3. We need Dan Quinn to focus in.
And he'll maintain his responsibilities as defensive coordinator as well?
Yes, he will. And you've got to realize that we have, according to how you want to count some of those assistants to the assistants, we arguably have 26, 27 coaches. And that's almost three coaches to a player that's on the field. We don't have any shortage of coaches out here.
Jerry, how do you assess Dak's play here as of late? We're having a hard time judging you. On one hand, we say, well, you don't have Lamb, you don't have Cooper, that's going to affect anyone. On the other hand, we're saying, well, if you're a $40 million guy, you got to overcome that and win games. How have you looked at Dak's play recently?
Well, this may sound strange. It will. I thought Dak played a good game the other day. And we weren't hitting on all cylinders. Some would say, well, Dak was a part of that. He'd like to have some back that he threw. Right. But in general, I thought that Dak played a good game. And have we had more success? Obviously we have. But I thought he did a really great job, particularly coming back after being thwarted, I'm going to use that word, most of the afternoon, and then come back and get us in a spot to win the game. So, again, he wants more. He does want more. We want more result, but that's not a criticism of him. I'm glad we've got him, boy. He's one of the best. And contrary to the fact that we lost the game, he got us back in position, and I thought he was the deciding difference to get us back in position to have a chance to win the game. And that's what we asked him to do.
Jerry, we know you've been saying the
shout out to Jerry Jones on that assessment of Dak Prescott. I mean, heavy is the crown, right? You are the leader of the team, so I'm quite sure if you ask Dak Prescott, who was the reason why you lost the game, he will probably say it was on me, baby. It's on me, baby. It's on me, baby. and that's what leaders do. They fall on the sword, right? And I know I get a third of the fan base that will say, yeah, man, Dak, oh, man, he's whack, and Dak Prescott is trash. I get it, right? I mean, some people be mad if they hit $1 million. They're going to say, hey, I want 10, right? People are greedy, collectively speaking. Some people be happy and satisfied with 100,000, right? But neither here nor there. There are some circumstances that this team, as it relates to a collective, got to play better. The offensive line, hey, musical chairs with that. Man, we got to improve on protecting the quarterback. Oh, excuse me, when the ball hits you in the chest, catch the doggone ball. You got to understand that sometimes the receiver helps out the quarterback by making the catch. Oh, and the running situation. You guys recall, I think it was a couple of episodes ago, that I mentioned that maybe it will be time to let Tony Pollard get majority of those snaps, right? Instead of Ezekiel Elliott, let's rest him a little bit so that he'll be ready down the stretch. We got a lot of divisional games. In these games, we're going to play each other rough and rugged. But I believe that this particular team, playing against common opponents, I believe that we can make something happen, especially against the Washington team, the Giants, and as well as the Eagles. I really believe we can give them a run for the money.
The Cavalry is coming. Can you give us an update? I kind of want to make it a 3-person question. An update on DeMarcus Lawrence and get us set for the return of Randy Gregory and how you see him, all these guys mixing with Micah Parsons rushing the passer.
Well, I think they'll make a big-time difference. Lawrence has had a good week. You'll see him this week in New Orleans Thursday. Lawrence. My goodness, what a difference a player like that can make. He'll of course, have to get his game going once he gets back in here. But still, big difference. Right behind him will be Gallimore. Right behind him will be Gregory. I don't know that you'll see them this weekend, but certainly you could see them after 10 more days up at Washington. And I don't know, when I say them, I'm a little loose, but you'll see one or the other, maybe both, by Washington. And so, boy, that is help on the way. You could make an argument that that's 3 of your 4 down linemen right there. And so that's very, very encouraging, and there's no doubt in my mind. Of course, we're in a game that can take away as good as you can add to. We just happened this year to have a very unique timing of when players were injured and not available early, that they were going to become available as we get into the last third quarter, get on into potentially playoffs. That hasn't happened. This numbers of players, this quality of players, this numbers of quality players have not happened in my time here. And so bottom line is we have more coming that will make us better.
So that was the end of that. Appreciate 105.3 The Fan. If you want to listen to that complete interview without me pausing and rewinding, check out their YouTube page. It's in the description box now. And be sure to hit them up and watch the entire interview without me pausing and rewinding. My thoughts on the Cavalry coming. We do need a DeMarcus Lawrence. He's not D-Law right now. I'm not finna call him D-Law. Not finna call him Tank or Tank Law. He's DeMarcus Lawrence right now. So that is a situation whereas we all, Cowboy Nation, we all will be looking at DeMarcus to see whether or not he can make an impact in a few days, right? This will be the guy that now when we can look at the front, okay, we got some of our reinforcements back. And I get it. Somebody's going to say, hey, Law, leave DeMarcus Lawrence alone, Can you call him D-Law? No, we need to see some results. Everyone have a reason, but results are what matter. And I can't wait to see now Chauncey Golston, the guy that was getting majority of those reps on the outside, which is good. You know, he made some splashes. Now he can reserve some of that stuff. He can pump the brakes a little bit, and you just add him in on the rotation. Law, what else do that happens? What happens after that too? What else does it help out? Well, now dare I say, Cowboy Nation, this also helps out Osa. We've been talking about Osa hitting that rookie wall, right? He can't just get through. He can't bust out of a wet paper bag all of a sudden. But now the focus and the concentration, the tape that the people had on him on the previous game, washes away. Because now they have to figure out a way to stop DeMarcus, right? And company. Oh, it goes a little further into the details of the situation, Cowboy Nation. Without hesitations of the situation, you listen to Law Nation. Hear me out, Cowboy Nation. That all rhymes for your mind. But I'm telling you guys right now that also when you put in Parsons, if you put him over to that side, and now you have to say to yourself, who do we double team? What do you mean? Oh, man, these guys are just crazy with it, huh? It can get to that type of situation. Without hesitations, right? Oh, baby, one fish, two fish. I'm like Dr. Seuss over here, baby. But we're going to listen in to another episode of 105.3 The Fan. They was talking about pretty much the thing of my opening statement about the flags. Now, I do believe, hear me out, Cowboy Nation. I do believe that there is a certain feeling from Roger Goodell and company that look at this thing and say, you know what? You tried to take $45 million from me. You tried to move my cheese. You tried to take what I've earned. And therefore, I may not admit it, but damn it, I'm coming. I'm looking for revenge, Jerry. I don't know about you guys. As good as we are as Cowboy Nation, I'm going to use Brandon or JJ or Tariq. I see y'all in the chat, or Stephen White. If I were to try to take $1 million from you, you'd probably spend the rest of your life trying to get back even with me. Can you imagine $45 million? And somebody in here watching right now said, dog it, if you try to take $5 from me, man, I'm trying to find you, boy. You know, you try to take my $5. You know, that people get fighting over $5. I know there's some people that fought over $5. I know for sure. So that's just how that goes, Cowboy Nation. And it's not no surprise to me, you know, what happened with Tristan Hill for him to get, let me see if I can pull it up on my, for him to get suspended, juxtaposed to him getting, fined or what have you for that, situation that he did. Shout out to my IG page. But you guys see what I did over here, right? Here we go. KZ get punched in the face, right? Or grazed in the face. And by the letter of the NFL rule book, any balling of the fist and aiming toward the head, dare I say, is an automatic suspension. It doesn't matter when. Tristan Hill do the exact same thing that Kadarius Toney did, right? As you guys can see with your natural eyes. And the craziest part of it all is that did you guys know that KZ get fined too? Both of those guys got fined. Now, we don't know the conversational piece of what happened between 76 and 72. But we can tell you with our natural eyes that the penalty is heavy. It's heavy, boy, on one side of the situation, and that's Tristan Hill. And I'm not saying that we absolutely need Tristan Hill. It's just the ideology that when we start talking about these type of small things that add up, that, man, don't you know how good it been for Tristan Hill to be inserted in as that rotational guy to give Osa a spell, right? And can you only imagine Tristan Hill when we get the reinforcement back with DeMarcus and Randy Gregory? But a lot of this stuff is going to go over a lot of people's head, you know. Some people just would not believe what I'm saying, and they would say, well, Law, you know, Tristan Hill was trash anyway, you know. But people don't like facts, you know. It's just kind of crazy how all of that transpired. And technically speaking, Tristan Hill would miss out $100,000 by missing out these 2 games. So that punch cost this man $100,000, right? It's crazy. But let's listen in to 105. They said, tell the truth. Tell the truth about everything. And let's go over this. And this is kind of like a quasi recap of the previous game, although we need to focus on the Saints. But this is good content right here. Let's listen in to these boys.
Lead the league in penalties. Who's to blame for this?
Roger Goodell or someone else, because they lead the league in penalties this year, last year, the year before. Like over the last 20 years, they lead the league in penalties. I don't know what the hell the Dallas Cowboys did to make somebody mad, but they're getting the full who's the NBA guy, Tim Donaghy. They're getting the full Tim Donaghy treatment. Over the last 20 years, the Cowboys are the most penalized team in the league. Yards, penalty numbers, versus the team you're playing that week, the Cowboys are the most penalized team. Somebody hates them.
Now we know who hate the Cowboys. And this is not me crying over spilled milk, Cowboy Nation, but this is me telling you guys the truth. Over the last 20 years, Cowboys haven't won in the last 20 years. Well, lo and behold, they lead the league in penalties. Now, if they had the same exact coach for those amount of years, I would get it, right? If they had the same players. But these are new players, different coaches. Now, we had, a long stretch with Jace and Garrett, right? But hear me out, Cowboy Nation. This stuff got to stop. It do. And we the people, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, hopefully one day that a third of you guys, not everyone, but a third of you guys can say, you know what, NFL, you guys got to stop doing this. But we have one of the most knee-jerk fan base, right? Or we have front runners as fans. And they only with us when we winning. No one is willing to do what the New Orleans Saints did. They doggone near sued the NFL, made it such that all of a sudden the following year you can actually challenge the flags that was called as it relates to PI. It took the NFL 4 years to see what we saw when Dez Bryant caught the ball against the Green Bay Packers. Everybody that's watching here, we were saying, hey, shout out to you, Marvin. Thank you for sharing, man. You're a real one. Thank everybody for sharing this content. We literally said, hey, Dez Bryant caught the ball, baby. He caught that. Oh, yeah, he caught that one. Mm-hmm. 1 year went by, the Cowboys crying. 2 years went by, the Cowboys crying. 3 years went by, Cowboys just crying. They cowgirls, Fourth year, yeah, he did catch that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he caught it. The New Orleans Saints. That was a blatant PI. It took less than a summer for the NFL to say, you know what? Yeah, that was a PI. Now we can equip everyone to challenge plays on PI. They did it for like a year or what have you, and they realized that it's so subjective and there's so much money and it's so with time consumption and everything of challenging plays that they took it away. I digress.
Football guy.
That is insane. I think there is an anti-Cowboy bias just generally in NFL culture, and I'm not surprised that it trickles down to the officials. There have only been a couple of years where you've had a physical, intimidating defense. You know, it's not even like over the last 20 years, they've been Legion of Boom style that's just going to mug all these receivers and dare the officials to call everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, they bailed 5-10 yards back before they even started covering in the Rod Marinelli years. So it makes no sense to me. I think you can look at things that you did to yourself, but the 4 first downs, especially the last one.
Yeah.
Like, all you have to do is run a streak, and then if the receiver turns and the ball is in the air, just slow down and put your hands up. The corner doesn't even have time. And on that call, Brown did a nice job holding up.
Yeah.
There should not have been a PI there. There was a lot more contact against Gallup on 2 occasions in the end zone the previous week.
Do you blame the Cowboys, though, a little bit the last couple of weeks that they haven't taken advantage of penalties or of the ways officials were reffing games? In the Kansas City game where there were no calls, in this game where it was overly officiated?
I guess in theory, yes, they missed opportunities. But if the Cowboys did what the Chiefs did, maybe they get called for it.
Big
and
facts.
it's not actually a missed opportunity because we've seen in games where there's certain things the other team can do to your receivers that you can't do to theirs. So it's very strange. It's very strange.
Yeah, I think it's a tough game to officiate. I do want to acknowledge that. And sometimes, like, bad luck can happen. Mm-hmm. That was the first game in a long time where I'm like, holy crap. You know, the kicker missing, but also the flags.
Yeah, I just kind of feel like, though, that this team, they always talk about the officials and they always talk about the penalties. And it seems to be a constant problem. And I don't know if this team's disciplined enough to, not to avoid penalties. Whether it's the hold. I mean, they get a touchdown taken off the board on a Tyron Smith holding call.
Yeah, it was bad.
And that's the kind of stuff that gets you beat. So I wonder, players, coaches, front office. I mean, if you want to say a bias, I don't know. But, man, I tell you, something needs to change because they get penalized way too much. Yeah. Way too much for a football team.
Now, what Broaders is saying is that Tyron Smith, they call 2 for 1. they got him for illegal formation, right? And then they turn around and they said, okay, all right, he held on that play as well. Now, I get it. Somebody is going to say, well, the Raiders law had 14 penalties as well. Not all of those penalties are created equal. When you talk about holding calls, PI calls, those are calls that goes further and they more subjective, meaning that you can literally call a holding call on every play. You technically is like a touch foul. You can call pass interference on every play. Both ways. Literally. It's subjective. It's what you interpret of what's impeding the receiver. What's an catchable ball, right? There's no person that can really say, well, according to the ruling, and by you having that as a place, it modifies everything. Literally. In the favor of who you want. But you go out there, and I was trying to tell people while we was doing this play-by-play and the live analysis, is I was saying the only way the Cowboys can overcome the officials if they get to Derek Carr. If they get to him before he throw the ball. And lo and behold, when I saw Parsons get to the quarterback before he's eligible to throw the ball, they did in return tag on another 15-yard. Fresh first downs. But Lord, when you call roughing the passer, when Parsons say, hey, man, I hit my own guy, it's impossible to beat that. It's flat out impossible to beat that. When you call it roughing the passer, normally, in that type of situation, a blow to the head if they really cared about the quarterback. He's supposed to at least sit out one play. He got up woozy a little bit, holding his neck, and it was flags left and right, Cowboy Nation. Then he get up and smirk and smile They should have picked up that flag. I digress.
I think Jerry needs to use his checkbook here to intimidate the league office a little bit. Like I'm going to be a lot less willing to save your ass with ratings bonanzas and be flexible and do all this stuff.
Yeah. If
we can't get at least a fair shake. The holds against Micah Parsons the previous week that weren't called, much worse than Tyron's.
Yeah,
big fact.
There's something going on there, but they need to get that situated right now. Are the Cowboys who we thought they were?
They are who we thought they were. But, it is what it is. I don't think that Jerry Jones, as much money as we say he got, there's always somebody with a bigger wallet or a checkbook that's behind the scene that we don't know. There got to be somebody with more billions than Jerry that's covering and overseeing this NFL. It got to be. Flat out got to be somebody with billions that Jerry done walked over and really made a bad enemy out of, right? Got to be somebody. Because ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way. You would at least see every other game that you would see, oh, wow, Cowboys didn't get holes on that one, right? Somebody answers to someone every time, Steve Griffin says the NBA is soft. Yeah. Shout out to you, Stephen White. Appreciate you. Jay Versick. Can you buy that hoodie? All right, I need to work with the lady to get this particular hoodie available to everyone. She's locally, and we are going through a lot of things to make it visible on the website. I got a website that's under development right now. Look forward to be launched next month. And just bear with me, Jay Versick. I want to have everyone rocking this Law Nation hoodie. Appreciate you, man.
Are the Cowboys who we thought they were?
Yeah, I think they're still really good, and they're going to be back. They're amazing. They're an amazing football team. They're hurt, and some bad luck has hit them. A lot of things have compounded here midseason, but I have full confidence. Give this thing 3 weeks, and we're going to look back on this as the unfortunate time when you had 4 or 5 really good players out.
Who we thought they were to begin the year, or who we thought they were 4 or 5 weeks ago?
The beginning of the year.
Lord, where can I buy that hoodie? Salute.
My AI needs some virtual coffee, man. I really appreciate you so much, but I'm working on it, Jay Versick. And the AI, hey, lady, you got to hurry up a little bit, lady.
No, they're better than who we thought they were. I think at the beginning of the year, they may end up with the same win total. Because I think at the beginning of the year, I picked 10 or 11 wins. Mm-hmm. And I think they'll be an 11-win team. But this defense is better than I thought they were. And the offense, I haven't seen this week. I'm sure they moved down. But they were number one in points, number one in yards. So it is really good offense. Yep. Maybe good defense. So, no, they're better than we thought they were. They're just in a weird stretch right now where they've played like crap some. They've had some of their most important players not available, and it's caught up. It'll get back on track this week even without their coaching staff when they thump the Saints.
Wow. Okay. More excited to have Tank back or those wide receivers?
Shoot, those wide receivers.
Oh, wide receivers. Offense. We love offense. It is.
Did a lack of pass rush hurt you in that game the other day?
Probably, but not as much as, if you can line up and teams are playing you in man coverage, you should be throwing bombs left and right. And he was able to throw a couple of those to Gallup.
Okay.
But you give me back Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, and you have defenses play you like that, you'll score 21 points in the first quarter. And we'll get to take a nap in the second half. It'll be great.
Well, so, okay, we talked about, though, the addition of Tyron Smith being a huge part of that, of things going forward. Did that really help, or was that?
Yeah, he had 33 points. Yeah, I think Tyron
all in the fourth quarter, though, right? Second half?
14 of it, yeah. They were bad on third down still.
And you had a kick return. I don't think the offense was great, but I do. I think it's the receivers. Look at the difference it made when they traded for Amari Cooper.
Sure.
That's good points right there. And I think somebody mentioned his Kamara plant. And Ingram is playing though, I believe, and he's back with that team, and I think he runs angry, he runs with a purpose, and the Cowboys. When we look at this team, let's talk about this Saints team one more time. All right, PFF. Let me pull up the Saints right quick. Y'all bear with me. Saints. All right, 5-6, and I'm not saying that hey, the record should show how you play, nor I'm looking at this thing and saying that by them being ranked the 23rd offense, that we can give them a run for their money. But in the following weeks, the past few weeks, we have not played from a stat wise a team with this amount of level of defense on the rankings, just from the defensive aspect of it. They got DeMario Davis. They got Cam Jordan. Davenport, I was looking at this list. It was showing that, he's questionable. Ramchak, he's back. C.J. Gardner, he's okay. He's not playing. I don't believe he's playing. But let's not just walk out here with our chests out and think that we're going down here to New Orleans and it's going to be a situation whereas we just blow them out. Especially when you have Marshawn Lattimore, who literally can say, okay, I don't need help up over the top. I don't need a safety help. I can take on Amari Cooper. He have not been playing in 2.5 weeks. I can take on him, so we got to understand that. And I'm not sitting here saying this is not one of these conversations of saying fear or versus no fear. I'm not finna give you guys that conversation. I'm just finna give you guys what football say. DeMario Davis is DeMario Davis, right? Cam Jordan, Cam. He's looking at this thing saying, okay, line me up. Line me up against these boys, on that front. They've been kind of shallow with their thought track with this offensive line, which is an offensive line you got to all be on the same page, Cowboy Nation. So that's how he's going to look into this situation. Kewan Alexander. You guys remember him, right? That's the guy that was over there at 49ers land talking about they the hot boys, right? So he's over here on Saints land, right? Now he want to say, hey, I want some too. I can't stand the Cowboys. So this would be the reality. Ain't nothing given to you. I still believe that the Cowboys can still be victorious, but they can't be playing around with their food. And like I said, in the last 3 to 4 weeks, we have not played a defense that's better than this defense, collectively speaking, from a stat-wise, right? Stats are for losers, but they got boys that can go. Now, their problem, because from the outside looking in, a lot of people will look into this thing and say, oh, they the Saints. But their problem been on defense, been their offense. Being on the field for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, being on the field for a lot. Yeah, Amari might not play. Yeah, I was going to say that news as well because Coop still been coughing. Man, I wish I could give him some of this stuff I got over here. he been coughing, and it's been bad for him. He's still battling through that C19. And if you try to put out the word COVID, you can't post it on his channel because it's been blocked. You can only put C19. So feel free to put C19, but don't say the C word, not on this channel. But you guys get what I'm saying, right? The censorship is real. But we hope all is well with Amari. We do. We hope all is well with those boys that is battling through that virus. And I'm going to tell everybody right now, there's no cure to the common cold. Newsflash, there may not be no cure to this C19. Right? You can only avoid it by being healthy. preparing yourself. Right? Eat right, do right, get plenty of rest and sleep. Yeah, you can say it on the Facebook, but you can't see it on the YouTube. But I would like for you guys to refrain from posting it. So, David, you've been warned. Don't post it again over here.
And so now you're talking about Amari Cooper and another first-round pick that are out. That is a massive strength of your team. And when you don't have them,
the whole word out.
Life is not as much fun. There's a lot of plays where they had plenty of time to throw, but there was nowhere to throw it.
But have we learned not having a pass rush also sucks for this team?
Sure.
Big time.
Not as much as, but it's 2-1. It's Tank Lawrence versus my two number one receivers. That's $20 million versus $20 million plus a first-round pick.
I think they've shown they can play decent defense without Tank and Randy somehow. It's amazing. And I'm excited to get those guys back. I really am. But I think Amari's absence is what gives that Vic Fangio blueprint a little bit of teeth. You have a guy that can eviscerate it. Come on, let's go. Right? Yeah. Oh, touchdown. Happened again. And all of a sudden they're out of that. And they don't have another player. They have satisfactory players who can find space when Amari Cooper's out there being such a threat.
I'm interested to see if the Saints walk up on these guys because the Saints, I'm going to watch that film tonight.
Lattimore will.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm interested if they can walk up on you and say, you're not good enough to get away from us. That looks like that's kind of a problem right now.
I love man to man.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this. We talked about this a little bit. What's going on with this Cowboys offensive line?
Well, I don't know. Everything they've said has eventually been invalidated when it comes to last year. That's fantasy football stuff with moving Zach out. And they moved Zach out, and it was a lot better. Now they're doing weird things at right tackle, left guard. Continuity is not important. So continuity and fantasy football have been buzz terms in their answers over the last 2 years, and then they went back on them. So this is why I always trust actions more than words when pro sports teams are talking. They're trying to manage things that they don't want us to know about or they don't want the opposition to know about. And I'm fascinated to know who Lyle Collins ticked off.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing that justifies what's going on here. I thought if they were mad at him, that should have been resolved with the unofficial suspension when he comes back from the bribe thing. But here we are now, and I'm starting to wonder whoever is making decisions at the offensive line, he's got to be really, really good at other parts of his job because he's just flying off the seat of his pants here and doing really weird bits with teachers' pets.
Well, Joe Philbin, he used to be a head coach somewhere, and sometimes you can have too many Chiefs and not enough Indians. And if that offend anyone, I apologize. I forgot about that. But here's the situation, Cowboy Nation. The lack of continuity, the lack of consistency came back to hunt us. So my thing is, this situation, collectively speaking, with Lyle Collins playing at right tackle, they benched him hefty stretch, you know what I'm saying? And then they put Terrence Steele in and going from his left back to his right. I mean, good grief. That's a lot to handle. To try to learn something with your left hand. And I know swing tackle's supposed to have that longitude and latitude, but the problem is with that Cowboy Nation, it's all that week. He practiced on the left side. he was subbing in practice on the left side because they were still 50-50 with Tyron Smith. So now you're going to go about this thing, and you're going to go and put him back on the right side, where he haven't practiced at. And you going up against, what's the guy name? Was it Max? Oh, my gosh. He made him his baby. Crosby, right? Max, woo. Put him in his lap. And the thing that I didn't like about that Cowboy Nation is you got your $160 million quarterback that was 2 degrees away from getting erased. But football is football. Joe, I think that he pushed and moved a lot of weight around there. Shout out to you, Terrence Shorts. You mentioned that he was the head coach for the Miami team because he got that background.
Yeah, I think the offensive line part of it is kind of tough. I'd be curious to go back and look and see, since they started off being able to run the ball really well, I think teams have focused on that more, so that's part of it in terms of
defending you.
Yeah, and that's also coincided with the time when either your receivers were hurt or not available. So maybe it's just perfect storm of awful. So what would that be? The worst storm? Maybe some of it's that. And I would be curious to see, because it doesn't feel like their offense has really gotten into a flow in any of these games. Like there's been too many 3-and-outs, drops, penalties, whatever, where you can never really get rolling.
The one thing that got them going was pace. When they
and they're always good in tempo.
Yeah, when they play in tempo, they're a better team.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder, when you're not able to really get much going, has it affected how creatively they're calling games? Because this is just top of my head, not any sort of film study. Like, I don't feel like we've seen as much of the right tackle is pinning, you're bringing pullers around, we're doing misdirection, we're motion at the snap. I don't feel like you've seen as creative attempts to run the ball as you did early.
I mean, running the ball is a situation where you got to wake up that morning, not the day of the game. But I'm talking about that Monday morning, like yesterday. Cowboys front office, John Stephen Jones, Jerry Wayne, and, of course, Kellen Moore saying, dog it, we're going to run this thing. We're going to set up plays to make sure that we put everybody in the right position to run. You can't just wake up one day and say, all right, we're going to run the ball. No, it's a well-thought-out plan. I'm looking at, and I hate to give them praises, but you can hide a lot of things by running the rock, and especially if your team is able to get the first down off of running the rock. Case in point, the Washington team. Although I've seen a video where they yelling, we want Dallas, we want Dallas. Be careful what you wish for, Washington. But there's two folds to the game that, if you guys were able to see that game last night, the Seattle Sea Chickens versus the Washington team, right? Oh, Seattle Seahawks, I apologize, Sea Chickens, They were able to run the ball and play good defense. Now they kind of lacked up and let up a little bit, and they started to press. I'm talking about the Sea Chickens now. Oh, Seahawks. Yeah. They started to press a little bit. And you saw one of the better throwers of the ball. Oh, yeah. Russell Wilson, 1-2 step Sierra. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to go for the big fish. Sometimes it's good to go and get the underneath. The guy underneath was saying, YMCA, I'm open. Let's give it up for the YMCA. He was wide open. But Russ was looking for the big play down the field. Sometimes you got to take what's underneath, get in rhythm, and then the big plays will open up and develop. And we saw what the Washington team was able to do with a running approach and playing good defense. And they can hide some of the inefficiencies. And I'm not throwing any shade at Dak Prescott, but they can hide some of the inefficiencies with Tyler Heineken, whatever that kid's name over there, right? By running the rock, playing good defense, time of possession. And then when you get into that rhythm, you can start utilizing your weapons. But the Cowboys been pressing. They've been so ready to say, okay, we're going to make these big plays. And they didn't start making plays last week or last game on the Thanksgiving holiday until they started to get into rhythm. Till they started to say, okay, yeah, we're going to speed it up a little bit, hurry up offense, but we are already in rhythm now. But if you look at the first drive in the series, 3-and-out, because they never got into rhythm. And on top of that, when they got punched in the mouth, when they didn't get the yards that they was looking for out of running, they stopped it. Oh, let's hurry up, let's hurry and pass. 3-and-out. Get into rhythm. Don't look for the big fish down the field. Matter of fact, I seen somebody, I think we did a call in, and they said, Law, we just don't have a guy that can take the top off the defense. Taking the top off the defense work instantly, right? It makes everybody play a little bit honest. But if you don't have that threat, and the Cowboys definitely don't have that threat, it's a little more difficult to get into rhythm sometimes. Oh, and case in point, and when you remove the 12 personnel and you're forced to play now more 11, although your passing yards and your passing attempt may improve, you see the regressions and you see the slippage of your running approach. Why, Law? Why? Personnel. Dictations, baby. Because I have a different mindset. I have a different play called on the defensive side of the coin. When I look down there as the safety or as the linebacker, and I'm sitting there saying, okay, it's 12. It's 12. I'm yelling out 12. I'm telling my people in the huddle, 12, they got 2 tight ends, 1 line on your line. Oh, they flex them out. Coverage, motion, move. Get to that point. Foresight is a whole different situation now. Your cutback lanes is a whole lot different now because now it's power to speed. It's speed to power when it's in 11. Right, Cowboy Nation? Those who know the defense. But 12, when Cowboys were able to work the 12, that's why we were 4th ranked in rushing. That's why we were 4th ranked in total passing yards. And it was a well-balanced situation. But now that it's 11, we stay on our side.
I agree with you on that. To me, I don't know why they're playing one guy 71 snaps and the other 3. And I don't know why you're waiting to week 12 to all of a sudden like start shuttling guards and tackles and stuff like that. And especially on a short week and your coach is not around, your offensive line coach is not around. Well, what's going on with that? You know?
Yeah, that's weird. I can't
that to me. I can't put my finger on. I could say that they're mad at Lyle Collins because they probably felt like he was a selfish guy and what he did. But yeah. I can't. You can't give me a good enough reason why you're shuffling linemen on a short week and your offensive line coach is not available. Don't. Any answer you give me, I'm not going to believe you. Just not. You know, you talk about continuity and all that crap. No, it's not. I don't want to hear it anymore from you. Yeah. I really don't.
Yeah.
It's like the whole thing with the penalties. It's like the whole thing with the field goal kicker. You know, that guy misses 46%. When like 46% of the time in these games he plays, I did this before, he's going to miss an extra point or a field goal. And you keep telling me, no, it's okay. We're sticking with this guy.
Yeah, we'll just let an extra 5 or 6% to score go.
That's
it's
okay.
Cool.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
so I'm starting to have a lot more questions about what's really going on over there.
You're starting to see, and it sucks that losing always brings these out, but you're starting to see, I think, what's held the organization back, and we're looking for the right coach and player combination to sort of shield through that. But I think when the owner gets to make decisions based on what sells jerseys, it's easy for the coaches to then say, well, what about my guys? You know, because I have guys that I believe are going to, help the organization achieve their goals. And unfortunately, the owner lets them get some of those too.
No doubt, man. That was a great episode by those boys over there, man. I enjoyed it. Be sure to check out 105.3 The Fan. Here is the link here. And when I say you guys got to put C19 out there versus spelling the word out, it's not me to you guys. It's just how the system been flagging the videos when y'all put the whole word out there. And I don't like the flag on the video. So if you guys can understand where I'm coming from, just give me a thumbs up. I don't mind you guys saying the word, by the way. I don't have no ill feelings about it. But just put C19 juxtaposed to putting the whole word out there because of the algorithm crazy monster thing. Like to put that flag on your account. And that's just a little housekeeping from me to you, if you guys okay with that, man. I love y'all, man. I'm not mad. I'm just passionate. I'm trying to get this episodes out the way. Y'all know how this thing goes, man. All right, appreciate y'all, man. All right, so right now, since we got a few time, let's listen to these boys over here on Get Up right quick. They talked about the win. And I haven't heard this audio, so I'm in the dark. And since I do a little investigation for the nation, some people said that they don't like the Shay Sharp when I do the Shay Sharp and the Skip Bayless talk track points. So we're gonna stray away from the Shay Sharp and the Skip Bayless. We're gonna talk about this and we're gonna roll up out of here, okay? So we're gonna listen to Get Up on these guys, and I'm gonna give you guys my review of what they had to say.
Right this minute, the 7th and final playoff spot would go to the Washington football team. That win moves them into that spot, and don't look now, but they have 5 division games left the rest of their way, including 2 against the Dallas Cowboys. That division is not yet done, and that is in large part because the Cowboys have been struggling, and that's our next stop. They'll be without their head coach Thursday night. As you now know, Mike McCarthy testing positive for COVID-19. He will miss the game against the Saints. Defensive coordinator Dan Quinn will serve as interim coach. Here's McCarthy himself with more.
Preparation, we got to complete it because it obviously gives us the best chance on Thursday night. I mean, obviously, I think it's going to be tough. Sit there and watch your team compete. That's that's difficult. Obviously, I had a little bit of that experience there at the end of 2018, and it was brutal to watch.
All right, so he's going to have to be on the sideline. Marcus Spears, let's just start with that part of this before I have Jeff Saturday. Well, actually, let me do that differently. My fault. Jeff, what do you want to say about Thursday night's game against the Saints?
Must win. It's a must win for the Cowboys. Listen, you're December football. You've lost 3 of 4. You're not running the football. Vegas, you couldn't stop them. You had 14 penalties for almost 200 yards. You can't do nothing right now. You better get it together. Listen, this is big time football. Everybody kind of let you coast because of the start you had. Ain't no coasting in December football. You better start playing and get this thing right because you don't limp into the playoffs if you want to do something. Cowboys, it's a must win Thursday night.
So then,
all right. So do y'all agree with Jeff Saturday? He said it's a must win football on this. I guess in the next few days on Thursday night football against the Saints. If you agree with Jeff Saturday, just give me I agree or yes or what have you. Yeah. Yes is quicker. He's right on the money. You don't want to limp. You don't want to limp into the playoffs. I agree with that. You want to be red hot. December, let's say November to remember, but December is really to remember. And I agree, 3 out of the 4 games, the last games that we lost, 3 out of 4, that numbering, the way he worded it sounds bad. So the Cowboys got to look into this situation and say, all right, cool. We've been talking about coaching not being able to be there. But dog it, last I checked, Dan Quinn, you was the head coach. And, hey, I do know in the heart you want to be a head coach again. So this is your resume. Dak Prescott, I know. Dak Prescott apologist. I got to call this thing fair and balanced. As good as he played, the last few games, we need better production from you. We need for you to hit your targets, right? We need for you to, if you know that if you don't trust your outside receivers to catch those balls on the outside, if you're having a little doubt, a little worry, then don't go back to them. Run it with your legs, Mississippi leg Dak, because you don't want, like Jeff Saturday, and I believe he got a Super Bowl ring, right? So I give him some credence to what he's saying. You want to be fire. You want to make them pay. I've seen Russell last night, even though it was kind of too late. He tried to start. He said, dog, these receivers not getting open. Hey, I'm overshooting it. I'm going to take it and tuck it and run it myself. And it worked for a few series there. I'm telling you guys the truth. Troy Aikman. The one thing that I can tell you, you drop that ball early, if you drop that ball in the first or second quarter, that joker would not look back your way. Troy, why you don't want to go back to him? He dropped the ball. I'm only going to the playmaker now. You got to start developing that. Joker not hitting that, if Joker not catching that ball in the situation, go to someone else.
Let me come to my cowboy, and that is Marcus Spears. Marcus, the impact of losing the coach and all of the other changes that go along with it. Again, Dan Quinn, he's the defensive coordinator, usually coaches from the booth. Now he's going to come down to the field. All that kind of stuff. How do you think that impacts their chances of winning Thursday night?
I'll be honest with you. I think they'll be fine without Mike McCarthy. I was more concerned about how many coaches would be unavailable. And coincidentally, they playing against the Saints, who went through this with their coaching staff, which was depleted. I saw, and I would love to hear Jeff on this, I saw some of the miscommunication on the offensive line against the Las Vegas Raiders, and Joe Philbin was out of that game. So I wonder how much of those in-game adjustments. That's what we're talking about here. We talking, and I'm not specifically talking about Mike McCarthy. I'm talking about all of these other coaches that may not be available, because throughout the course of a game, the communication on the sideline is the adjustments. And that's the part that I'm more concerned about. Listen, when you look at the Cowboys, here's what I'll say. And y'all know how much I love this team. Y'all know I'm a big fan of this team. They are going in the absolute wrong direction. We just finished talking about the Green Bay Packers. We talked about the Arizona Cardinals and Tampa Bay ascending. Dallas Cowboys falling back. And the Washington football team playing better. Now, I'm not going to take away, because Seattle is a bad football team. And they had to eke out a win last night to beat the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm not about to go crazy.
Appreciate that. Come on now. Hey, and he just leave. Let me look around before I say this, Cowboy Nation. Well, what the hell is going on with L.A.? I know it's to live and die in L.A. is the place to be. You know what I'm saying? Why they ain't mentioning the L.A.? Can somebody tell me, do the L.A. Rams play in the NFC or they an AFC team? You know what I'm saying? Which conference the L.A. Rams? Are they in our conference? And what's their record? How many games losing spree are they on right now? And I know we got to deal with what we dealing with now, but we ain't the only ones. But Spears, like Derek Williams, you 1,000,000%. Spears is speaking the truth. Both of those boys, Saturday spoke the truth, as well as Spears just now speaking the truth. Now, they are not lying. He's just leaving out L.A. That's all I've said. And last week, before this week, it was the Eagles. Everybody was saying, hey, brother, watch out for those Eagles. Now everybody kind of tiptoeing out of there, right? We ain't worried about those Washington teams. But Washington, they got a good coach over there. And anytime I tell people, if you can play good defense and run the rock, and it's finna get cold in December, that is what you want to do. Play good defense and run the rock. So, that's just how that goes. Shout out to Tom Downey, burner account. Come on, AI. She been late, man. So when I hit play, she gonna watch. She gonna start talking. But let's
respect what the Washington football team has done. I'm still taking Dallas, but health, this COVID situation, and getting things back on track is vitally important. I'm with Jeff. It's a must-win against the New Orleans Saints, but it's also a must get healthy and get your guys back.
Why are we surprised? This has been Dallas for almost 30 years. The Jones way is not working and the results show. He said he would do anything.
Let's hear what I'm saying. Repeat that again, lady.
Vogue, why are we surprised? This has been Dallas for almost 30 years. The Jones way is not working and the results show. He said he would do anything.
He would do anything. Anything. Vach. Why are we surprised? Vach, you talking about Vach Lombardi? Is he in the house? Wait a minute. My dog Vach is in the house. Shout out to Vach, but Tom Downey, when you say anything, are you anything to win the Super Bowl? So it's been almost 30 years, and we had an episode about who's the most penalized team in the NFL, and it's hard, baby. It is flat out hard. for you to play against two teams every Sunday. Until somebody get mad enough, and I'm talking about Jerry. Let the AI speak on that one.
Nobody's scared of Washington, been waiting for them.
Yeah, nobody's scared of Washington. Yeah. But we have to make our fair assessments about Washington. But I appreciate you, and y'all be sure to check out Mac, a new YouTube channel. Appreciate you, man, and shout out to you on the Instagram as well, Mac. You're a real one. But I'm coming here to tell you guys, and this is no excuses. We play against two teams, literally. What y'all expecting right now? Cowboys are 14-3 right now. We had those 7 games. Literally, I can go by line and point out what the aficionados had. We 14-3 right now, Cowboy Nation. Believe it or not. Like Ripley's.
Try to make this playoff push as well.
What more can you tell us, Dan Graziano, about the circumstances there?
Well, there is actually some good health news, right? I mean, Ezekiel Elliott and CeeDee Lamb were both full participants in practice yesterday. Amari Cooper back in the building, so it looks like he might be cleared in time to return to action Thursday. He missed the last 2 games, so those are positive things. But when you have this kind of outbreak, outbreak's a word that is charged. We don't want to. When you have this kind of proliferation of COVID cases in your building, you're subject to increased testing. So everybody in the building is getting tested today, tomorrow, Thursday. So what you have to watch out for with Dallas is who else tests positive. Hopefully nobody, but if it's anybody else, they're going to miss this game.
So I come to you here, and the family group chat there with Dak Prescott and the family and everything. How would you describe the level of concern for where we find ourselves?
No concern. All we can do is keep cooking. My man Dak is cooking every week. Every now and then there's a little blip here or there, but the issues weren't with him in this past week. So I do think that Randy Gregory is another player that they could see back. And I do think the issue with McCarthy being out, it changes everyone's responsibilities too. It's not only what other coaches have to be out, coaches that are normally focused on one thing are going to have to take on more responsibility or focus on something completely different. So it might end up helping them. We don't know. We just know it's going to be different.
But how would you describe the level of concern for the team? I get it. Dak is playing fine.
I don't think there's very much concern at all because a two-game lead on Washington. I know that we're poo-pooing it like it's not a big lead. They're better than Washington. They play Washington twice.
They got to a place this year where being better than Washington is no longer the objective. Are they better than Green Bay? Are they better than Tampa? Are they better than Arizona? That's the question.
Yeah, I don't think.
Well, I'm going to say this again. Can you guys hear my audio now? I kind of pumped it up a little bit. Shout out to you, Cactus G. My thing is this right here. You get to the dance. That's the main thing. Getting to the dance. Winning your division. I told you I'm greedy. I'm greedy. I want home field advantage throughout the playoffs, right? And the only way that happens if we went out right now, and of course, the Cards, have to lose another one, and of course we beat them. We win the head-to-head, however that goes, and we will be there. But the AFC, I've seen somebody say, well, those teams, blah blah blah. Those are not common opponents, and I'm not finna use that as only the excuses. But it wasn't like it was a situation whereas the previous game was a cakewalk, right? There was some unforeseeable circumstances to happen, and we were not at 100% against the Chiefs nor the Raiders. And a lot of you guys kept the pressure up, right? A lot of you guys kept the pressure up and said, all right, cool. We want to put the foot to the neck of the Cowboys for not winning those games. And I get it, right? But we are still in the same spot we were at before we played the Chiefs and the Raiders. We haven't moved. Now, we got to get back on this horse and continue to push this thing all the way through, moving my microphone, push this thing all the way through. But it can possible happen right now. Conference record. Yeah. Dwayne. Yeah.
Any of us can say definitively that anybody is better than anybody this year in the NFL. Are they good enough to beat those teams in the playoffs? Absolutely.
Let me say this, because Marcus brought this up about their offensive line play. Let me tell you the other part that concerns you about the Dallas Cowboys. They're not doing what they did early in the season. They're going to a much more zone. I'm not going to get too into the details, but no more are they power blocking, gap blocking down, moving bodies. You think everything's kind of in concert, but ain't nothing physical coming down at Hill at them. Kellen Moore has got to get these guys back to playing behind their pads, being physical. Steele's going to be out. That's bad news for the Cowboys.
But listen, you got to play. We went 6-0. We can't get no stops on defense. Let's run it right at that face. We can't complete any passes. Let's run it down that face. When we let them run.
Hey, I already explained that earlier. I didn't get a chance to listen to this, but I didn't know that Saturday was teams tearing steel, by the way. On top of that, Cowboy Nation, I just talked about this. Why they haven't been doing that? Because you're no longer in 12 personnel. So many people was like, Blake Jarwin, he's trash. Blake Jarwin. Shout out to you, one for each finger. How many people missed Blake Jarwin now? You know what I'm saying? Because you still got to count for, okay, you're going to try to bracket Blake. Okay, you keep the guy underneath and the safety that's over the top that's normally covering Jarwin, for crying out loud. Shoot, we can single that up now. McKeon, he's good, no, but he ain't no Blake Jarwin. Schultz, he's good, intermediate short routes. That's one-on-one coverage. Nobody's thinking about putting two on Schultz. And Schultz had a good game last game. I'm not going to say that he didn't. But route running is not his forte. He's more of a blocker, short, intermediate. Yeah, I can run even the wide option. I can get you there. But he's not going to win on the majority of the time. And he's not going to cause the awareness for everybody else to say, okay, now we're going to focus in on 86. And I'm not saying that Blake Jarwin did that for us 100%. But what I'm saying is that Blake Jarwin, I believe in college and high school, he was a wide receiver at one point. They switched him to being a tight end. So he runs purer routes at the top, juxtaposed to underneath. Schultz, he kills you underneath routes in a good way. So the illusion of when you are in 12 and running out of that set and running with your running back, oh my goodness, you can get so much. Dictating.
Special teams is a mess. Let's run it down their face.
I can't understand what you're saying, and you're sitting right next to me, so I can't fathom what this is like. Marcus, go.
Listen, man, what Jeff is talking about, I agree. We line of scrimmage players, but what I will say is this. They can. They can. And listen, man, I know nobody cares, but when we look at the Dallas Cowboys, you got to acknowledge that 5 of their best players that makes a difference in every game has been unavailable. That's the reality. So if they are not going to, if you sitting here telling me that the Dallas Cowboys won't get Randy Gregory back, at some point get DeMarcus Lawrence back, Tyron Smith will come back.
Yeah, now we're talking.
CD Lamb, Amari Cooper.
Now we're talking.
If you telling me you're not going to get them guys back, I'll tell you that they don't have a chance. But they will probably, and they have a chance. The Cowboys are not a bad football team. They've ran into a bad string of luck, and they haven't had 5 of the most important players on their football team available to them. I'm not going to not acknowledge that, but they do need to play better and get back to what some of Jeff said.
Sound like a fan.
Big fan.
That's a fan.
What was it? Hey, man, he sound like a fan. Let me see what he going to say.
That's the matters.
The fact that there's 2 head-to-head games left between Dallas and Washington, I think that's better for Dallas
Than it is for Washington. Even I can't disagree with that. Okay, we need to calm everything down. You know what we need? We need some breakfast. We need pancakes.
My car won't start. Run it down that face. There you go.
Them boys, man, shout out to Get Up, man. That was a pleasure, man. I really appreciate everybody that watched these episodes along with me, giving me valuable feedback. And I'm not always right. I'm more so wrong than right. You know how that thing go, Cowboy Nation. Shout out to you, Taylor. Thank you for the 100 stars. Thank those who donated. I thank you guys for your time. There will be some more content throughout the day. But if you are here right now, and we will be doing another giveaway drawing for those who donated and support the channel, we will include membership people. So if your membership, your name will be entered into the drawing as well. I got a autograph Michael Gallup helmet, miniature helmet, not the big one, that we will be giving away shortly here. And it's for those who donated in any shape, form, or fashion. PayPal, God Dog It Me, even Zelle, what is it, Cash App, whether it's you're part of the membership or if you're part of the Patreon, and if you're part of the Super Chat groove. I really appreciate you guys for help growing the nation. Pivotal game, I agree. This now falling into a situation whereas a must win far as the psyche for the Cowboys. Cowboys 7-4, don't want to fall to 7-5, of course. Need a bounce back game on the road. We playing against the New Orleans Saints. I can't stand them. They're third on defense, so we're gonna have to step it up, play a situation whereas if they got the ball with their offense, there'll be more chances and opportunities for us to pick it off. Their quarterbacks, whoever they put out there, whether it's, I think they're going to give Hill a shot at quarterback this week. He can pass some interception, but he is explosive, so you got to keep a spy on him. Oh, with the running back groove, that's their strength on their offense. They can run the rock, so we're going to have to punch them in the mouth and shut that all the way down. How you shut that down, Cowboy Nation? We got to score on our side. We got to make it difficult. Our offense got to be our version of their defense, right? Our offense got to make sure we put pressure on the New Orleans Saints, Cowboy Nation. Flat out. Our offense got to do it. Our defense is our defense right now. We are a team, whereas we are not ranked at the top parts of the defense, but takeaways we are. Excuse me. Just behind us in takeaways, New Orleans Saints, believe it or not. We're ranked 9th. They're ranked 10th, so they can take the ball away too. But we got to make sure that our offense play to the level where it sits at right here, number one. We got to do that, Cowboy Nation. This is a zero excuse business, right? And we got to pump out the greatness in it within everything. And it starts this week. Regardless of the soldiers that's down, we got to make sure that we stay focused and let's get this thing going. Look, come on, Jones, man. We got kids watching, man. I mean, I don't mind people saying cuss words or what have you, but you got to refrain from putting it out there. You know, saying it and putting it out there is one thing, you know, is another thing. So I don't want to block you though, but refrain from putting it on the chat. You know, I can't have the screen up when you put your cuss words up there because this channel is syndicated on Amazon, Roku, as well as iTunes. And if you guys can check that out on Spotify, the video will be uploaded there. Shout out to my partners there. And let's go, Cowboy Nation. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Oh, and if you're a Saints fan, hey, shout out to Saints Jerome, baby. Let's go. Let's figure this out. Hey, Cowboy Nation. I can't stand the Saints. Saints can't stand us, but let's go. We still got to keep it going. You see a lot of people out here right now. Let me see some fire emojis in the chat. A lot of people right now watching to see where we're going to fall off at, right? A lot of people already got a predetermined thought track that the Cowboys are who they are. Same old Cowboys. But I come here to tell you guys right now that this team is different. And Dak Prescott himself will bring forth that energy. I get it. Last few games just wasn't what we wanted. But there's growth that's finna come. We finna get our reinforcements back. We finna get our temperaments back. We finna get our mindset straight. Terrence, I see you in there, Shorts. Shout out to you, Israel. Nobles Royalty. Appreciate you, Sean Miller. Jay Lombardi. Appreciate everybody, man. It's loyalty with the star. It's loyalty with Saints fans, too. For you guys to go through what you guys went through and still support the Saints, shout out to you guys. But I come here to tell you that this silver and blue, I know up under that gold and black that you guys see that silver and blue. When I was growing up, not many Saints fans in my area were Saints fans. They were Cowboy fans. And I know that you guys are still out there. Write this down. If you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time and your peace and your sleep for it. If all of your desires of it makes you quite mad enough that you don't get tired of it, and it makes you hold all other things tawdry and cheap for it, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you'll gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, and plan for it and lose. And I mean just that, lose all terror of God or man for it. If you will simply, just simply go after the thing you want. My guy, Chef Mac, is in here watching. He said, Lord, I'm going after the thing I want. I created a YouTube page. I'm on Instagram now. I'm out here telling everybody that I'm ready. But I come here to tell you, dogged and grim and proceeded, besetted with the help of Almighty Cowboy Nation. Anything is possible, Jenny. Yes, you will get it, Cowboy Nation. So is this team. Shout out to the Cowboys. Continue to grind and shine. Let's go. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. And watch, there's multi-millionaires right now that's listening. Listening right now. Got a vision, got a dream, got a goal. Ain't nothing gonna stop them from it. They just gotta step out and walk out and look around. It's there. Shout out to you, Sally. Yeah.
Nowadays, nothing really is.
Come on.
Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell them it's ice. I got
Let's go.
on blinking shit.
Appreciate you.
Freeze. Photo. Please. No photos.
No.
G's.
Let's go.
Please. No photos. Hit the door and the dumb and just whole team here.
Come on, Dallas. Take your opportunity like Tom Downey says. Take your opportunity. I ain't know that there was a Washington Nation. Big, simple. Shout out to you, though. Washington Nation. That's going to be y'all new name. Roll credit. Yeah.
Nowadays, nothing really is. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell them it's ice. I got wifey on blinking shit. Freeze. Photo. Please. No photos. G's. No. Please. No photos. I keep giving game away.
Long.
I put game on layaway. I got paid to play today. I get paid to stay away. I get paid on rainy days. I might make it rain today. I got paid off pain today. Thought it'd take the pain away. In my own lane, finger roll.
Come on.
I would never sell my only soul. Heard your whole team was for sale. Heard
Not ours, baby. Turn me up.
Who the realest, we might
It's
never
long.
know.
Come on,
the second,
baby.
you gon' play a role. Give you the world when they sign you up. Try you out and then they line you up. Ooh. Now you're looking hungry, ribs are touching, need some food. Now you're all on live acting surprised, but you was fooled.
Come on.
Boy, get out the way, it's been a day, now you're old news. Now you got the pen and pad, you're trying to take my moves. Nowadays, nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell them it's ice.
Shout out to you, Jay First.
Freeze. Photo. Please.
Tom
no
Downey.
photos. G's. No. Please. No photos.
Mac, I see you.
Really excites me. Only one of me and
Noble
nobody's like me.
royalty.
Phone
Shout out
ringing
to
and I tell
all
them
of
it's
y'all.
ice. I
Sally.
got wifey on blinking shit.
Off of each
Freeze.
finger.
Photo. Please. No
Let's go.
photos. G's. No. Please. No photos.
Come on. Hey, ho. Let's go. It's the nation, baby. It's the nation. It's the nation, baby. Coolin' in the game, baby. I see you. Shout out to you, man, for your love. I'm crunk, baby.
I've been really in the field.
We gonna run it up this week. Yeah. Let's run it up, baby. Let's go. Hit that like button, share this content. Let's continue to grind and shine. Come on, baby.
Kinda check the song.
Come on.
I just wanna run it up.
Come on, watch this. Watch this.
Lately, I just wanna run it up. Need them ones, I need them fives, need them tens, I need change to the safe, got blues inside.
Come on. Ted, shout out to you.
It's all the same. I still say and roll my chain.
Don't y'all dance like that.
When I play, charge it to the game. I'm with L, yeah, I'm with T Black, I'm with Reverend now.
Come on.
I'm with Bay, yeah, I'm with Jay, yeah, I'm with Chuck and now. Still the same, I switch sides, now it's about loyalty. You switch sides off for the bag, and that's worth more to me. I mix Nike with designer, I experiment. You just rock what's on the shelf, and I'm not feeling it.
Come on.
Search for the one, but baby girl, it's nothing real as this. Can't trust a soul, I keep a hammer, call it too legit.
Yeah.
I've been really
DJ Law Nation. Run it, baby.
Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal.
Come on.
Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Hey, yo.
Kinda check a song. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Count that too, count it up, count it up, count it up, count it up. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Yeah.
Come on, let's represent. Come on out to New Orleans and let's party. Let's pack that stadium, as Jerry would say. Yeah.
Take a drag of my cigarette. Breathe me out, breathe you in. Yeah. Take a bite of my burger, babe. Save the last bite for
Come on, y'all sing along with it. Nation, if you have not hit that like button.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
And another one.
And another one. I think you was the one I lost. 7 wonders all in one. All in one.
We tell them.
Don't let the street lights hit you all alone. You know it's dangerous.
Appreciate the donation.
How about them Cowboys? Real one here, DC for life.
Ooh, I love it, Sadiq. Put real one in if you still watching. Put real one in the chat. Yo.
If a paper crane can fly, then forever doesn't feel that far. So far, so far. If a paper crane can fly, then forever doesn't feel that far.
I see you, Lisa.
So far,
Appreciate all of the real ones.
so far.
That's Kenny the Shark right there.
If a paper crane can fly,
Yeah.
fly on, fly on, fly on, fly on, fly on.
We out, Cowboy Nation. Really appreciate you guys, man.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Time to run it all. I wake up. Yeah. I wake up. Flex. Thumb down now. Check. No drip. This. Wet. Tell 'em run it all. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em